to school here. Now, how does that happen? Freedom, personal liberty, is the most precious thing on earth. It is also one of the rarest, hence its great value. People who manage to get to America despite mountainous problems and miles of red tape often find themselves free for the first time in their lives. It's a joyous, wonderful experience for them, and in this newfound freedom they set to work to find a place for themselves. They go to work serving their new country and its people. Time means nothing to them, but being free to pursue their own ends in the richest, freest country on the planet is everything. They all go to work, and they work hard, and their work is excellent, first class, as good as they can do it, and it's priced fairly. You don't see them marching, demanding higher pay or shorter hours. All they want is the opportunity, and once that's theirs, they make the most of it. In New York City, a Korean family managed to buy a small convenience grocery store in Midtown Manhattan. The first thing they did was clean it. It sparkled with cleanliness. Then they stocked it with everything they felt the people in their area wanted in the way of things you find in a grocery store. They were open early in the morning. They stayed open late at night. They never failed to smile and give a friendly greeting to their customers. Naturally, they became wonderfully successful. They were open 7 days a week. One day, customers coming to the store found it closed, and on the door was a sign giving the reason why. It read, "We've gone to Yale University to watch our son graduate." That's an American story. The true story of people who found joy in freedom and in the opportunity to serve their fellow man and make the most of it. What sets these people with such vast handicaps, such as not knowing the language, not knowing the right people, not having any money? Or the boy with the burned legs who becomes the champion runner, or a Helen Keller blind and deaf at birth? What in the world is the answer? The answer, if fully understood, will bring you and me anything and everything we truly want, and it's deceptively simple. We touched on it in our last message. Perhaps it's too simple. The people we've talked about here, and the thousands currently doing the same thing all over the country, are in possession of something the average American doesn't have. They have goals. They have a burning desire to succeed despite all handicaps. They know exactly what they want. They think about it every day of their lives. It gets them up in the morning, and it keeps them giving their very best all day long. It's the last thing they think about before dropping off to sleep at night. They have a vision of exactly what they want to do, and that vision carries them over every obstacle. This vision, this dream, this goal, invisible to all the world except the person holding it, is responsible for perhaps every great advance and achievement of humankind. It's the underlying motive.
Grand Rising, everybody. What is going on? What is going on? Can you guys hear me loud and clear? Let me know in the chat box by typing where you are tuned in from. And then, Caden, if you can make sure that they're able to type to everybody in the chat box, that'd be amazing. That would be amazing. But happy Thursday, everybody. Happy Thursday. Trust you're all doing absolutely fantastic. And looking forward to this morning's live CPI trading session. Let me make sure we're recording this. And you're definitely, hold on, record. There we go. Okay, perfect. We are recording. Make sure you do your teams a favor and send this out because this will be maxing out at 100 participants. Shout out to those of you that are here relatively on time. Okay. There was about 30 of you that were here early, and that's on time. We got 49 people in the Zoom chat, 7:33 a.m. This thing maxes out at 100 people. It's also streaming on YouTube, so if people can't get in, you can feel free to send the link out from YouTube. I'll drop the YouTube link in the chat. You can share that with your teams if you feel called to. Unless, hold on, did the live end because we started, hold on. Can you guys, y'all do me a favor in chat. Check and see if that link, oops, I think I sent that just to Jacob Garcia. Jacob, go ahead and do me a favor and see if that YouTube link is live. Okay. And you're seeing this, but a little bit delayed. You let me know, Jacob Garcia. It's a big responsibility. I accidentally sent it to you instead of everybody in the Zoom chat. So don't let me down, Jacob. We're counting on you. It's working. Amazing. Shout out to Jacob. Quick, He's quick with it. We love to see it. We love to see it. Shout out to everybody tuning in from all over the world. We've got, let's see, drop in the chat if you haven't already. If you already have, please do not drop it again because I'm going to lose track of who did and who didn't. So we got Ontario, Canada. Shout out to Caden for being Mr. Moderator on today's session. We got Sweden in the house. Let's go, Marcus. Dario from Bolivia. Graham, what's good, man? Good to see you. We got Vienna in the building, UK, Nigeria, Slovakia, Tilbury, Ontario. Derek, good to see you, man. Good to see you. We got UK in the building again. We got Balboa. Correct me if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Uh, uh, Balboa, great to see you from the UK. We got Spain. What's good, Camila? Good to see you. I had no doubt I was going to see you on here. Texas, DFW. What's good, Abel? Good to see you, bro. Good to see you. Nigeria. Nigeria again. Alberta, Hungary, Moncton, New Brunswick. Nathan, good to see you. We got Kansas. Amazing. Amazing. Y'all weren't expecting to jump on here and see me suited up, probably, but the boy is moving different right now. And a mentor of mine once said, dressing for success is a secret that very few people know about. The clothing you wear has a vibration. So if you are somebody who's wearing sweats all the time, you're going to be vibrating lower. And it's not a bad thing, it's just a thing. You're going to be vibrating lower than the person who's dressed up suit and tie. If you wear a suit and tie, what feelings do you have? Drop them in the chat. If you've suited up or you've been in your favorite dress, how do you feel? How do you feel? Confident, amazing, fantastic. Hold on. Earl, what are you doing, man? I did not click play, Earl. Man, were you guys hearing that audio, by the way? I'm trying to I was trying to share that audio with you guys. We're going to listen to some personal development together this morning, okay? While we're looking at some charts, and then what we'll do is right at 8 a.m. Eastern, that's when we're actually going to start unpacking what I'm looking for. But I'm going to show my screen and basically while the audio is playing, because I'm trying to get my PD in the morning at the same time as us doing this session. I'll be in real time slicing and dicing, marking up the charts. You guys are going to be like, what the heck is going on? And then at 8 a.m., we're going to unpack everything that I just went over with myself during that process of listening to an audio. So you're going to see me kind of do analysis without explaining it to everybody and how quickly that is. And then at 8 a.m., we're going to go back and we're going to unpack everything that I'm looking for CPI. We'll trade the release and be done the session at 9 a.m. Eastern, maybe a little bit longer, depending on, what the markets are showing. Anyways, back to dressing for success. The way you dress is directly correlated to the way you feel. So if you're dressed for success, suit and tie, you're going to feel much better than somebody who is not dressed in a suit and tie. And the confidence you are going to emanate is going to lead to you taking more action. It's going to lead to you feeling better. It's going to lead to the positive momentum cycle, the first domino falling in the positive momentum cycle. So that's why we're suited up today. We're feeling super good. I'm sure a lot of you have questions about what the heck is going on. And this is not the call to unpack that. So any questions will be disregarded in regards to what is happening. This is a live CPI trading session. That's what we're going to be focusing on. Okay. So is everybody clear on that? Drop a one in the chat. And like I said, keep blasting the Zoom link out because, yeah, as I mentioned, this is likely to cap out at 100 people. I would be surprised. I would be baffled if this doesn't cap out at 100 people. And if it doesn't, great. Maybe people are on YouTube and that's why it's not capping out at 100. My goal is not for it to cap out at 100. I could care less. It doesn't make a difference to me. But it could make a world of a difference to people not on here, if we take some banger trades together. So feel free to blast the link out and let's go ahead and dive right into it. Like I said, I'm going to play the audio and we're going to listen to that while I'm doing some analysis at 8 a.m. in about 20 minutes. That's when we're going to start to unpack everything. And then the release is at 8:30. So we are 50 minutes from the release. That's 50 minutes for people to actually end up being here live. That's why I'm so confident this is going to cap out at 100. I could care less if it does. And without further ado, big shout out to Earl Nightingale. This is one of my favorite audios. It's called The Secrets of Success. 25-minute audio, and it's a goodie. So enjoy. you guys hear that? Nope. Okay, hold up. Let's see what's going on here. Share. Hold up. I think I know why. Let's go ahead and do this. Boom. And let's do this.
The best definition of success I've ever found goes like this.
We're good.
Success is the progressive realization of a worthy goal.
Ooh, that's a nugget. What a way to start the audio for those of y'all that weren't here before.
Or in some cases, the pursuit of a worthy ideal. If you'll give these definitions some thought, I think you'll agree with me. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy goal. That's a beautiful definition of success. It means that anyone who's on course toward the fulfillment of a goal is successful. Now, success doesn't lie in the achievement of a goal, although that's what the world considers success. It lies in the journey toward the goal. We're successful as long as we're working towards something we want to bring about in our lives. That's when the human being is at his or her best. That's what Cervantes meant when he wrote, "The road is better than the inn." Quite often romantic stories end with the loving couple getting married. That's just the beginning of the real story. When the young person stands before his school's president or principal and receives the diploma, that's called commencement. That's the beginning. It's an important milestone, to be sure, and congratulations are certainly in order. But where are you going from there? Once a person has realized the goal for which he or she has so assiduously toiled, that's wonderful. It's time for a rest and some self-congratulations, time to savor the achievement. But we're no longer successful by my definition until we set a new higher goal toward which to work. We're at our best when we're climbing, thinking, planning, working, when we're on the road towards something we want to bring about. I don't mean by this that we should become workaholics. Far from it. In fact, it's been well established that the most successful men and women manage to live in a wonderful state of balance, with lots of recreation. Take that word recreate apart when you've got some time and you'll find it interesting. And they get lots of rest. The mind works best when we're properly rested, and our minds are the best and most important parts of us, regardless of what we choose to do. Did you ever hear an athlete say, it's about 90% mental? Whatever the percentage really is in a good game of golf or tennis, it's very large. As we pointed out in the magic word, our mental attitude can make all the difference between winning and losing. With our definition, success being the progressive realization of a worthy goal, we cover all the bases. The young person working to finish school is as successful as any person on earth. The person working toward a particular position with his or her company is just as successful. If you have a goal that you find worthy of you as a person, a goal that fills you with joy at the thought of it, believe me, you'll reach it. But as you draw near and see that the goal will soon be achieved, begin to think ahead to the next goal you're going to set. It often happens that a writer, halfway through a book, will hit upon the idea for his next one and begin making notes or ideas for a title, even while he's finishing work on the one in progress. That's the way it should be. One of my favorite poems is by Rabindranath Tagore, the distinguished Calcutta poet, and it goes like this. I slept and dreamt that life was joy. I woke and saw that life was duty. I acted, and behold, duty was joy. We are at our very best, and we are happiest when we are fully engaged in work we enjoy on the journey toward the goal we've established for ourselves. It gives meaning to our time off and comfort to our sleep. It makes everything else in life so wonderful, so worthwhile. Most people, when they think of the word success, tend to equate it with lots of money. Sometimes that's a natural part of the goal and tells us how well we're doing, but not always by any means. Success is whatever we want it to be, that is worthy of us. That's why I commented earlier that success may also be defined as the pursuit of a worthy ideal. For example, I can't imagine anyone being more successful than an outstanding teacher who's striving to know more about the art of teaching and the subject matter that will catch the interest of his or her pupils, who understands that every student is different and learns at a different rate of speed. Joy and satisfaction come to us from serving others, and there are literally millions of ways of doing that. For those whose goals involve the serving of great numbers of people, chances are they'll be richly rewarded indeed. In fact, for many, a goal is a certain level of income or a certain amount of money in an investment account. A goal is an individual thing, as individual as the person, him or herself. Since no two people are exactly alike, it stands to reason that no two of us will have exactly the same goals. One thing a goal must do, however, is fill us with positive emotion when we think about it. It must be something we want very much to bring about. The more intensely we feel about a goal, the more assuredly the idea buried deep in our subconscious will direct us along the path to its fulfillment. I once used the quotation, "No one gets rich without enriching others." I received a letter from a man in Utah who wrote, "How about those who get rich in the drug trade, or those who produce and sell pornography? How do they enrich others?" It was a good question, especially in these times. I wrote back to him and told him that my definition of success is the progressive realization of a worthy goal. Certainly people in the drug and pornography business would not qualify as successful. What they're doing is counterproductive, destructive, and involves, in the case of drugs, the enslavement and death of thousands. And I went on to say that while our needs are few and relatively simple, our wants in this incredibly affluent society are virtually endless. By meeting those wants, whatever they may be, we serve others, not always to their benefit, nor to our own, nor would I call those in drugs and pornography successful, nor do their riches amount to much if they're apprehended and sent to prison. But I did stop using that quotation. It is possible to get rich without enriching others, but for most of us, it's not the way we want to go. It's nothing to take pride in. Why bother when there are so many positive, excellent, and productive ways to serve others? But whatever our goal happens to be, if we stay with it, if we're fully committed to it, we'll reach it. That's the way it works. It's estimated that about 5% of the population achieves unusual success. For the rest, averages seem to be good enough. Most seem to just drift along, taking circumstances as they come, and perhaps hoping from time to time that things will get better. I like to compare human beings with ships, as Carlyle used to do. It's estimated that about 95% can be compared to ships without rudders. Subject to every shift of wind and tide, they're helplessly adrift, and while they fondly hope that they will one day drift into some rich and bustling port, you and I know that for every narrow harbor entrance, there are 1,000 miles of rocky coastline. The chances of their drifting into port are 1,000 to 1 against them. Our state lotteries wax rich on such people. So do the slot machines at Las Vegas and Atlantic City. They look to luck, but don't seem to realize how steeply the odds are stacked against them. Someone wins from time to time, to be sure, but the odds are still there. But the 5% who have taken the time and exercised the discipline to climb into the driver's seat of their lives, who've decided upon a challenging goal to reach and fully committed themselves to reaching it, sail straight and far across the deep oceans of life, reaching one port after another, and accomplishing more in just a few years than the rest accomplish in a lifetime. If you should visit a ship in port and ask the captain for his next port of call, he'll tell you in a single sentence. Even though the captain cannot see his port, his destination, for fully 99% of the voyage, he knows it's there, and that barring an unforeseen and highly unlikely catastrophe, he'll reach it. All he has to do is keep doing certain things every day. If someone asks you for your next port of call, your goal, could you tell him? Is your goal clean and concise in your mind? Do you have it written down? It's a good idea. We need reminding, reinforcement. If you can get a picture of your goal and stick it to your bathroom mirror, it's an excellent idea to do so. Thousands of successful people carry their goals written on a card in their wallets or purses. When we ask people what they're working for, chances are they'll answer in vague generalities. They might say, "Oh, good health, or happiness, or lots of money." That's not good. Good health should be a universal goal. We all want that and do our best to achieve and maintain it. But happiness is a byproduct of something else, and lots of money is much too vague. It might work, but I think it's better to choose a particular sum of money. The better, the clearer our goal is defined, the more real it becomes to us, and before long, the more attainable. Happiness comes from the direction in which we're moving. For example, children are happier on Christmas morning, before opening their presents, than they are Christmas afternoon. No matter how wonderful their presents may be, it's after Christmas. They'll enjoy their gifts, to be sure, but we often find them querulous and irritable Christmas afternoon. We're happier on our way out to dinner than we are on the way home. We're happier going on vacation than we are coming home from it. And we're happier moving toward our goals than even after they've been accomplished, believe it or not. That's why it's so important to set new goals as soon as the current one is realized. And we should never stop this process. All the days of our lives we should be engaged in moving toward, earning, and looking forward to a new plateau on which to stand, a new goal to accomplish. If you, like so many millions of Americans, don't know what it is you want sufficiently to name as your primary goal, I recommend you make out a want list. Take a notepad, go off by yourself and write down the things you'd really like to have very much, or do. One might be a beautiful new home, or a trip around the world, a visit to some special country or place. You might be yearning for a sailboat or a motor yacht, or if you're an avid fisherman, you might want to go salmon fishing in Alaska or trout fishing in New Zealand. It might be a business of your own or a particular position with your company. It might be a certain income that will permit you to live the way you'd like to live, or, as I said earlier, a certain amount of money in good investments or in a savings account. How about a special make of car, or an addition to your present home? Just write down everything you can think of that you would really like to see come about in your life. Then, when you've exhausted your wants, go over the list again and number the items in the order of their importance. Then make number 1 your present goal. Listen to this message often, as I hope you'll listen to all the messages until they become a habit-knit way of thinking and doing things. Believe me, the system works. It works every time. Life plays no favorites. If anyone can succeed, and millions do, so can you. Of one thing you may be sure, you will become what you think about. If your thinking is circular and chaotic, your life will reflect that chaos. But if your thinking is orderly and clear, if you have a goal that's important for you to reach, then reach it. You will. One goal at a time. That's important. That's where most people unwittingly make their mistake. They don't concentrate on a single goal long enough to reach it before they're off on another track, then another, with the result that they achieve nothing but confusion and excuses. I started looking for the so-called secret of success when I was 12 years old. I read every book I could find on the subject. I studied psychology and sociology. I studied the great religions of the world, and I read the world's greatest philosophers. And all of a sudden, many years later, I realized that in the hundreds of lives I'd studied, in the countless books I'd read, a plain and simple truth had kept appearing. It's believed that no one can learn anything until he or she is ready for it, and apparently I was finally ready, in my late 20s, to finally see for the first time the secret I had searched for so long. It was simply this: we become what we think about. You see, you are at this moment the living embodiment of the sum total of your thoughts to this point in your life. You can be nothing else. Similarly, 5 years from now, you'll be the sum total of your thoughts to that point in time. But you can control your thoughts. You can decide upon that on which you wish to concentrate, about what you think about from this point forward, and you will become that. You will realize that goal as sure as anything on earth can be sure. That's why having a goal toward which to work is so very important. It gives our minds a focus and our lives direction. By thinking every morning, every night, and as many times during the day as you can about this exciting single goal we've established for ourselves, we actually begin moving toward it and bringing it toward us. When we concentrate our thinking, it's like taking a river that's twisting and turning and meandering all over the countryside and putting it into a straight, smooth channel. Now it has power, direction, economy, speed. Several billions of human beings would give anything they have to enjoy the freedom and personal liberty you and I take for granted, to have the right to choose their work and their goals, to enjoy our bountiful standard of living, our educational system, to know the peace and privacy of our homes, and to have laws which protect the citizen rather than persecute him. We have it all, yet in the midst of our plenty, millions lead unhappy, aimless lives. They live in tiny prisons of their own fashioning. These are the people who don't know that each of us, each one of us, not the economy, or fate, or luck, or the breaks, each one of us is in charge of his or her own life. Each one of us is completely responsible. As Carlyle put it, the person without a purpose is like a ship without a rudder. Have a purpose in life, and having it, throw such strength of mind and muscle into your work as God has given you. He also said, a person with a half volition goes backward and forward and makes no way on the smoothest road. But the person with a whole volition advances on the roughest and will reach his or her purpose if there be even a little wisdom in it. And Munger said, there is no road to success but through a clear, strong purpose. Nothing can take its place. A purpose underlies character, culture, position, attainment of every sort. So decide upon your goal. Insist upon it. Look at your goal card every morning and night, and as many times during the day as you conveniently can. By so doing, you'll insinuate your goal into your subconscious mind. You'll see yourself as having already attained your goal, and do that every day without fail, and it will become a habit before you realize it. A habit that will take you from one success to another all the years of your life. For that is the secret of success, the door to everything you will ever have or be. You are now, and you most certainly will become, what you think about.
All right, chat. That was a fire audio, right? Zoom chat. I'm on Instagram Live as well. So if you guys are tripping, like, yo, this guy's just talking to himself. I'm not talking to myself. Okay. I got people over here too, man. All right. We're on Instagram Live and Zoom and YouTube. I'm gonna have to make me fall asleep. Yo, it'd be like that. Earl Nightingale's got such a silky voice. You just be falling asleep sometimes. I'm not gonna lie, I've fallen asleep to Earl before. You know what I mean? Fire audio. Who drop some threes in the chat if you thought that was a pretty damn good audio. All right. Well, we traded gold this session. We're gonna try to, Maria. We're gonna try to take some bangers today, live on the session. Okay. For those of y'all that are on Instagram Live, I'm gonna stay on Instagram Live for about 5 minutes. And if you're not on the Zoom, you're gonna miss the entire live CPI session. We're about to unpack everything on the Zoom. So feel free. You can go on my Instagram story, you can check it out. And if you just reply yes to literally any of my Instagram stories, it'll send you over the link to the Zoom. You can join. It's likely that around 8:30 a.m. the Zoom will max out. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? We'll see. I feel like there's a. I feel like actually I won't even get into it. It's not worth getting into that right now. But okay. For those of y'all that are on the Zoom, let's start to unpack this. Man, I don't think my MacBook can handle this, bro. It's like lagging a little bit. I don't know if you guys are noticing that as well. Oh, you know why? It's because I still have OBS open. Hold on, let me close that. Close. OBS Studio quit unexpectedly. Actually, I clicked quit, so shouldn't have been unexpected. So yeah, the main thing I'm looking for today. All right, obviously we were slicing and dicing, going over everything pretty quickly. Main thing I'd like to see is initially with CPI a sell-off. Um, that is what I'm anticipating. If we take a look at all the major currency pairs, whether that's Euro USD, GBP USD, whether that's gold, whatever the case may be, most of these are in bullish trends and have sell side liquidity internally. So if we take a look at and consider the previous week's trading range, which if we're considering last week's trading range was basically, this was the low, which was established on Tuesday, and we traded to create this high on Friday. All right, we already took the previous week's high. Now we're in the state of retracement to kind of create the low of this week, which I believe is likely to be here, to then continue higher going again into next week. Keep in mind, this is the last real trading week of the year. Okay. I don't personally trade the next 2 weeks. Next week, we got Christmas, we got the holidays, we got New Year's after that. I personally won't be back on the charts actively trading. I'll be educating during that time. I got a little holiday special for you guys. Okay. So look forward to that. But in terms of actually engaging in the market, it's quite rare that I will trade the last 2 weeks of December. So realistically, if we just take a look at the Forex calendar, I know the doodles are still on screen. I'll delete that in a second. Dude, I am like lagging. I don't know if you guys are experiencing lag. Hopefully not, but my shit is moving so slow this morning. So yeah, until January 5th, I'm off the charts after tomorrow, basically. And tomorrow there's not even news, so I won't likely trade tomorrow either. So CPI, we're ending the year with a bang. I'm affirming it. It's already done. All right, we're taking a banger today, or two, or three. We'll see. That was not meant to rhyme, but it did, you know. And we'll see what happens, man. But this is what I'm liking for CPI. All right, this is what I'm liking for CPI. If you're on the Instagram live, just jump on the Zoom. You're gonna see everything I'm talking about, and not just see my beautiful face. You're gonna actually see the charts and what we're going over. But these are the parameters. They're in the Zoom chat. If you were not here when I dropped the parameters, there it is. I'm gonna drop it in the chat again. Um, but can we look at UJ? Yeah, absolutely. We'll take a look at UJ in a second, as soon as I'm just kind of done recapping what I'm looking for this morning. So this is what I'm looking for. Maybe shorts into the CPI release could be favorable. I don't love to trade news like taking an entry before the actual release personally. That's just a preference. A lot of people get stop hunted with the actual news release, right? So it's a little bit you know, from my experience, it's a little bit more reasonable to wait until the actual release, wait for the initial manipulation, and then take a position targeting the other side of liquidity, which I have a whole training on, by the way, which is on my YouTube. It's great training. I'm pretty sure if you DM me the word news on Instagram, it sends over to you. Which this is my Instagram for anybody that is not already tapped in. We're using a lot of automations on my Instagram, guys, just so you know. So anybody that, you know, is in communication with me on Instagram and it's like pretty quick, like those are automations. I am working on making sure that my team is available to get back to people as well manually. So it's not just, oh, it's like I'm, talking to an automation all the time when I'm talking to Donnie. It's not always like that. But for something like a news trading training, if you DM me the word news on Instagram, it's gonna boom, automatically sent over to you, which is great. So it's just a nice little tool. We've been absolutely pushing out the content. I have a lot more in store going into the new year. So definitely, if you're not already following this page, you know, again, doesn't make a difference to me, but might be of value to you. So yeah, this is the main outlook on Euro USD. I really like this. Are we going to see this with news spike? Maybe. I mean, the news spike could sweep both these lows. I think it's quite a bit of movement that we would need to see. So smaller time frame perspective at the release, if we were to trade into, some other point of interest to potentially take sells to target that low, I'd be open to that on Euro. But this remains relevant for me. This is like the same outlook that I shared on Sunday when I did my market outlook session, which most of you probably were on or maybe watched the recording, or actually probably not the recording because, you know, it's inaccessible now. But yeah, this was the initial, that was before I resigned. This is the initial perspective that I shared on Sunday for your USD. It's the same perspective that I've shared today. Or that I have today. So GU probably won't be trading. This was something that had news already today. They did rate cuts. All right, they cut from 4% to 3.75%. News is notorious for false spiking, where you'll see a false spike in one direction and then price will flip and do the other thing. So here, again, if you're on Instagram Live and you're like, "What are you talking about? I can't see anything." You can jump on the Zoom, just reply yes to one of my Instagram stories, and you'll get the Zoom link. But here you can see right at 7 a.m. is when they cut rates. Okay, 7 a.m. Eastern, you can see that. Take a look at what price action does. All right. False spike lower absolutely flies. Now think about it. How could a rate cut be bullish for a currency? It doesn't make sense. Rate cuts are usually bearish things, and rate increases are bullish things. This is smart money at work. Smart money does the opposite of what most people think. So think about it realistically, right? If you've been on any of my sessions before, we talk about observing the masses and doing the opposite. If you've been on any of my sessions before, we unpack exactly why the major banks and institutions trade the way that they do, getting themselves into a position where they are, ultimately capitalizing on market manipulation and capitalizing on where the liquidity is residing. So if most people are anticipating rate cuts, which they got for GBP, about an hour ago, most people would have been selling in anticipation of that. What do we see? Tons of liquidity built up on terms of the highs. False spike lower, so they were right initially, but then immediately flips and takes out all the seller liquidity. So I mean, why would you sell at a low point price? I mean, in comparison to, or in relation to this overall trading range. So it's like a huge smart money move. So whenever I'm looking at the market, I know I'm going kind of quickly here, just trying to walk you guys through my thought process. Whenever I'm looking at the market, doesn't matter what it is, a part of me is always considering what are the vast majority of investors and traders looking to do right now, and how can I position myself in a smart money way, which is not in alignment with all the retail traders, but actually in alignment with all the major institutions. And again, you in having this mentality of observing the masses and doing the opposite is a great approach to thinking like smart money, because if most people are buying, you may want to consider selling. If most people are selling, you may want to consider buying. It's a very surface level topic that we dive a lot more in depth on these live sessions. So again, anybody on Instagram Live, I'm going to wrap up this Instagram Live so I can fully be focused on the Zoom for the CPI live session. We're about to experience the news release in about 24 minutes now. So if you want to join the Zoom, you're welcome to. If you want to just see the aftermath and maybe we catch a banger trade and you weren't a part of it, that's fine. But what if you could have been a part of it, right? Jump on the Zoom session, tap in. So Instagram Live, chat to y'all soon. Lots of updates to come in the next couple of weeks. Much love. Peace out. All right, Zoom. I'm not cheating on y'all anymore. Okay, full attention. All right, hold on. We gotta stop sharing screens for a second. Okay, yo, where are all the faces at? You guys can put your cameras on. You know that, right? I am the only face on this Zoom right now. This is not like a stream that you're joining on the website, man. You could put your cameras on, man. Look at that. Brad's half asleep on the call. Friggin' 6 in the morning. We love to see it. Dwayne, good to see you, my bro, at the gym, locked in. James, good to see you as well. Hipsa, Graham, okay. Esther, oh my gosh, good to see you. It's been a long time. Samir, what's good, bro? Derek, is it Wahoo? You're gonna have to correct me if I'm mispronouncing your name. Jenna, what's good? What's good? Oh my gosh, some beautiful faces. I can never do this before. You know what I mean? Getting ready for work. No worries, no worries. If you're in a spot where you can't throw your camera on, it's all good. Okay, let's see if I can pronounce this name. Is it it's Menav. That one I can definitely pronounce. What's good, bro? Good to see you. Brooke, what's good? Good to see you. Jordan, hey. Mr. Broom himself. If you know, you know. Awesome, guys. Cool. Good to see some faces, man. All right. Let me see. Is anybody chatting on YouTube? Bro, let me actually see if anybody's on there. I think my YouTube's completely. I don't know if my computer can. Oh, wait. Oh my gosh. It is working. Hey, YouTube, what's good, man? I can't see any faces on YouTube, but what's going on? Hey from Mauritius. Let's go. Let's go. We love to see it. Okay. Cool. Let's go ahead and continue unpacking everything, shall we? So already we're seeing GU make a nice push for buy side liquidity. This was pretty obvious to anticipate the draw. If we're taking a look at, I don't know, I don't love this, but if we take the high and we get a sell off with CPI into this fair value gap, I might consider taking longs. Um, and what that would look like if we were to just go ahead and throw parameters on here. This is what I would look to do. Target the high, entry off the 50%. And realistically, this is the trading range for the week. By the way, this is a banger from last week. I'm not sure if anybody took this. We talked about that on session, but yeah, huge run of liquidity this week on Wednesday, and we're seeing progressively price wanting to trade higher. So I do like overall majors going higher, DXY going lower. I think for DXY, where we're bouncing from makes sense. We marked this out, talked about it on Sunday. This is the fair value gap and actual gap on the daily time frame, I believe. Yeah, look at that, man. 50% tapped in, bounced. We love to see it. Next area I'd like to potentially see price trade to is this on the daily. And ultimately, the positions that I'll be taking today are in anticipation of us continuing higher to this fair value gap. So DXY, I don't trade. I look at this to get a bias. And so for Euro USD, me looking to see these lows taken is also in anticipation of DXY taking this high. All right. And this is what I'd like to see from this area on DXY. Okay. So Euro USD, this just makes sense for me. We'll see if we get it. I could be totally wrong. All right. None of this is financial advice. When you join the Zoom call or prior to joining the Zoom call, you had to sign off stating, hey, I understand this for educational purposes. No, no, no financial advice, baby. You know what I'm talking about? Just education and some sniper entries from time to time. But yeah, these are the parameters that I would use. So entry anywhere from inside this fair value gap, invalidation beneath the low. Um, and then yeah, exits, I mean, pretty straightforward, right? I'm pretty confident we could run to 1 to 5 risk to reward on that 117,800 with CPI today. So, this is my favorite setup. Gold is also pretty good. I'm also liking gold quite a bit for today. So one thing I've learned, I mean, we've learned this together because if you've been here before, you've been on sessions where we've had markups and we missed them because we were focused on too many things. One thing I've learned in trading, especially news, is you want to pick your favorites and focus solely on them instead of trying to catch every single move or every potential markup that you make. So today we're going to be focusing on Euro USD and gold. All right, which I think everybody's going to be happy about because everybody and their mom and their dogs loves gold. I don't know what it is, you know. Actually, I do know what it is. Gold is good. It's why we call her Goldilocks. She's a sweetheart sometimes. I'm gonna be honest, other times she's not. She can be a bit of a bitch sometimes, respectfully, but most of the time she's a sweetheart. You know what I mean? See, these are the types of things I couldn't say before. I'm independent now. You know what I mean? I can be fully having a good time with you guys. So, outlook on gold. What are we considering? What are we looking at? Could this be, the high of the week? Maybe. Normally, just a note, right? If you want to make a note here, gold does move quite a bit, actually, usually over the next 2 weeks. Um, and it usually is trending quite bullishly. Seasonally, gold is very bullish going into the end of a year, and usually remains bullish until like the end of Q1. We've been on an insane, bullish trajectory on gold. I'm loving what silver is doing. We've been talking about silver for years, and we're finally, at all-time high price discovery levels. Believe it or not, these were areas that we were buying from in 2020. And it's just the understanding of smart money, right? Huge sweep of liquidity. I don't know. Yeah, this was like to measure out fib levels and extensions. I think 74, 75 is on the table for silver before we top out. And then I would expect a pretty, I mean, silver moves very slow, right? So, the retracement's going to take like 3 years probably. But silver is doing amazing things, but silver is correlated with gold, right? Obviously, we're seeing, the rotation of money from gold into silver and gold still maintaining price. This is very similar to what crypto normally does, but what we didn't do this year, really, which is Bitcoin rotating, funds rotating into Ethereum and then rotating into altcoins. And we're in the year of the snake. I'm not going to talk about this because we don't have time today. Maybe I'll talk about it in another session. The year of the snake is symbolic of illusion. It's symbolic of taking people by surprise. And the elite, who you could classify as smart money, are like siphoning energy, and money is energy. So this year, I personally felt that the crypto market underperformed because of obviously gold taking the spotlight, but also because of the year of the snake and finessing a lot of people. So maybe we see a Q1 final all-time high for the crypto market going into next year. Maybe. But at this point, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, it's not looking great. And it's more likely we're going into a bear market, which is exciting, not disappointing, not, oh man, no, it's exciting. This is the time to accumulate the next year and a half before 2028, which is the next Bitcoin halving. But we're not really here to talk about that. We're here to talk about CPI. I'm getting a bit off track. Ultimately, what we're looking for, this on Euro. We'll see if we get it. I did mention maybe shorts to then take this low. I think the high of the week is likely in on Euro USD. If we take a look at GU, the correlating pair also looks pretty good to be the high of the week on Tuesday. Although this is looking pretty strong. We might create a new high of the week. This could be the low of the week on GU. Either way, buys make sense. GU also is looking pretty good. But for gold, these are the 2 points of interest that I'm really waiting on. And this is the one that I'll need to focus on a bit more. Euro USD, you can set a limit and forget about this, right? Which, by the way, I need to do because last time, oh my gosh, I don't know if JP's on this session. I called a banger on gold for last week. I think it was last week. Do you guys know which one I'm talking about? This trade back here, I think it was last Wednesday. This was the type of this is the type of thing you can sometimes catch with news. All right. This is a banger we called out well in advance. I made a whole Instagram reel talking about this. Okay. Sniper entry 1 to 5 restore, zero drawdown for more than 300 pips. It's actually closer to 400 pips. And I didn't set a limit on this. And I went bowling in the afternoon because it was FOMC. And I didn't even end up taking the position because I forgot to set the limit. So everybody on the team ate. And I was chefing up. I was the one feeding the family. But I didn't eat. So I was a little bit frustrated with myself, as you can imagine. And well, let's just say that's never happening again. So I'm gonna go ahead. Well, it might happen again, let's be honest. Things happen, but I'm gonna go ahead and set this myself. So give me a moment to actually place this pending order. And these are the parameters again. These are the parameters you can take if you feel called to. I wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't even be opposed to like shorting like what we're seeing right now, to be honest, to target those lows with news. But yeah, really what I'm looking for is entry in and around, whoa, I think they updated MT5. Ooh, that's kind of clean, man. I like it. I like it. When you like do a pending order now from the chart window on MT5, there's like a little thingy at the bottom. It's like there's a little guy at the bottom. You can like choose the order type and stuff. That's pretty neat. Anyways, parameters are on screen. So point of interest in this range, basically. This is what I'm going to be using to structure my entry. You could technically take entry from like 116,800 if you wanted to from the 4 hour perspective, right? 4 hour perspective, as soon as we take this low and are in this fair value gap, you could look to take longs. I'm going to place a few orders a little bit higher. Um, a little bit higher. All right. But ultimately, I do want to see entry from around the 50% of that area. So that's like 116, 720, we'll say, is really the ideal scenario for me. Yo, this update on MT5 is fire. Um, wow, really nice. So yeah, man, we'll see what happens. Volatility, we're getting some nice volatility before news. I would not be opposed to seeing a run of this high and then a sell-off or potentially even a rejection from here. But again, I'm not taking the sells. I'm just looking to take the buys mainly. So So yeah, man. And then in terms of invalidation level, I mean, it's there, right? INV, that's your stop loss price. Not financial advice, just an idea. This is what I'm taking personally. If you want to take the same position, great. If you don't, great. Um, you know, whatever you feel called to. Bro, this is sick. This new update. Are you guys experiencing the same update on MT5 as I am? Don't like the new update. It's tripping me out. It's tripping me out. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of like it though. It's like the new Instagram update. I was pissed when I had to start going like it was like bottom middle of the screen where you got to where you gotta DM people the bottom middle of the screen now. Sheesh. Does it show you the dollar amount? Yo, this is actually sick. This is a sick update. I'm not gonna lie. I'm fired up, boys. Let's go. Can I modify the lot size in this area or no? I don't think I can. It's kind of whack. Yo, I have a beginner-friendly series I'm working on right now with one of my good friends and business partners. Yo, you guys are gonna love the bloopers. Um, Man, it's gonna be on my YouTube. It's gonna be pretty hysterical. I think you guys are gonna like it a lot. I'm not gonna lie. Man, y'all don't even know what we're cooking up behind the scenes. I can't speak on it on this call, but we'll keep it for another time. All right, let me set this. Yo, this is like a learning curve for me. I kind of like it though. This is since yesterday. What are the odds, bro? What are the odds they decided to do this update literally for today's CPI session? We'd love to see it, man. Okay, and then golds. Let me pull this up. Somebody was asking about it in the chat. My apologies, I'm multitasking here. The areas that I would like to see, this is something you could put a limit on, this lower area. You can put a limit on this. I wouldn't put a limit on the higher point of interest. That's just me because, this is a significant amount of liquidity. We could sweep this, trade in the fair value gap, and dip. We're gonna watch the smaller time frames to justify taking a buy off that. Here you can set a limit. If we get Siri, I'm not talking to you, man. If we get a sell off into this fair value gap, these are the parameters that I'm looking to use. So we got entry from like 42.50 to 42.45. I know it's a crazy, it's a bigger than usual Donnie stop loss here. All right, it's not my perfect world where we're getting like an 80 pip max stop loss, but gold has been a totally different beast as of lately. So of course we have to adjust and adapt accordingly. Now that is a pretty major sell-off from current price for us to get down there. So this is why we have the alternative point of interest. And I mean, I'm gonna set alert on this, but knowing news, like we probably won't even get notified. We'll have to be on the charts and watch this. But yeah, the pending order, I'd say like 42.50 is like a good level. Again, not financial advice, just an area I would be looking to consider myself personally. I must say, by the way, it is crucial to use proper risk management and potentially reduced risk on news days for obvious reasons. Like unless you are completely brand new and don't really know what's going on, which is okay, by the way. But for obvious reasons, like use proper risk. Don't be a degenerate. Otherwise, you're just going to blow your account. And to be honest, I'm going to have no sympathy because to trade profitably, consistently, you need to treat this like a professional would. And maybe it's rude of me to say, oh, poor Jared. I don't know. Hopefully, there's no Jareds on the call. I'd be awkward. I'm not talking about you, Jared, if you are on here. It's like, oh, poor Jared, man. You blew your account. It's like, Jared, wake up. What are you doing, man? Actually, wake up. You wanna make this shit your lifestyle, or are you just being a degen and trying to flip your accounts? Anyways, let me um let me set this on gold real quick as well, ladies and gentlemen. Give me a moment. I know this is serious, but I can't help but laugh. You wouldn't expect this kind of energy from somebody dressed up in a suit, would you? Yo, what? That's crazy, bro. That is way more than I thought. Okay. We're gonna have to do something with that one. Man, God is good. That's all I'm gonna say. God is good. Amen. Amen. Let me get an amen in the chat. God is good. All right. If it's God's will, we're gonna see this play out. You know what I mean? We're gonna see this, one of these positions play out. If it's not God's will, he's got a plan for us. All right. Um yeah, and then like I said, this is an area we're gonna watch smaller time frame development. We got 6 minutes until the news release. So we're gonna watch smaller time frame price action as we develop in there. I think we will trade in there. It's just I don't want to take a position too prematurely, and I would probably go stop loss break even pretty quickly after we trade into this area. If we trade in this area, maybe we don't. Just because we could easily sweep some more lows from earlier this week and from last week to then go and sweep these highs. So this is first zone. This is second zone. Pretty straightforward. Hopefully you guys are following. And yeah, man. Let me set. I'm setting a number of entries myself personally, so just bear with me here. I'm telling you guys, I am not reliving that experience from last week, bro. That shit pissed me off. I'm literally bowling. One of the best games of my life. Actually, that's a lie. It was not even close to the best game of my life. One of the most fun games of my life. And I get a notification mid-game that I disregard. I didn't get my phone out of my pocket. 15 minutes later, I take a look, gold crossing this price level. I'm heartbroken. I'm like, wait, did I set the limit? And I go on my app and I see, I'm trying not to cry right now with you guys. I'm just kidding. It's not that deep. But Loki, it is that deep. I'm looking at my phone. I'm like, man, I didn't even set the limit on that, bro. Everybody ate except for me on that trade. But hey, I'm happy. You know, I'm happy because the team ate. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line, man. All right, let me look through the chat. I've been neglecting the chat, I'm not gonna lie. Let's see. Donnie not pitying is hilarious. Donnie not pitying is just the reality of things. I don't have pity for people that are literally self-fulfilling prophecies, you know? Like, dude, respectfully, somebody's got to wake you the fuck up if you're blowing your account and you've blown multiple accounts. Like, are you serious or are you just being stupid? Like, somebody's got to tell you. I'm being mean because I care. 100%. My brain feels that because same. Hey, 100%. All right. Yo, how do you know which low to take the fib from when using it? This is a great question. Um, After the news release, we'll talk about that. Remind me, Nathan. All right. UJ, yes, I got you, Jenna. Caden, you're doing a great job moderating. Can we get some eights in the chat for Caden one time? Big shout out to Caden, my protege, one of my proteges. Good, very teachable, coachable student of mine. We started working together probably a year and a half ago. I think it was like, yeah, it's coming up on 2 years. It's his 2 year anniversary in the new year. This guy just made a decision. He was excited in January of or yeah, not this year, but the past year, 2024. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, Caden, but he was like, man, I saw it was Olivia, I believe, who was from his town. Shout out to Olivia one time as well. Trading, and he got inspired. Was working a job at McDonald's that he hated, but was paying the bills. And he was like, man, I want to change my life. And he locked in and changed his life, not just with trading. He got a high ticket sales job, started doing door to door, and started doing whatever it took to really turn his life around. And I'm really proud of you, bro. Really proud of you, man. You deserve the recognition because, the secret of the wealthy is that they are constantly recognizing achievement, even if it seems kind of whatever to the person. it's worth recognizing, bro. And the person you've become, the person you're becoming, the man you're becoming, bro. I'm very proud of you, bro. And it's important for me to share that because, not everybody's parents can see the growth. And a lot of times that's how it was for me, at least with my parents. It's hard to support something you don't understand. And let's pay some homage to Caden in the chat for moderating, but also for the amazing success that he's seen and will continue to see. And, we're still growing, we're still learning. You know what I mean? But let's drop some eights in the chat for Caden one time. And just know when you celebrate something, you were accelerating it in your own life. So if you're like, man, this Caden guy, like, okay, Donnie, whatever, dude, whatever, dude. It's like, all right, next time that you deserve to be celebrated, there's going to be people reacting the same way that you are to Caden right now. And you get what you put out there. So if you're not celebrating Caden, good luck achieving something that's worth celebrating and having people celebrate you, man. I'm telling you, what you put out there comes back to you tenfold. So, UJ, this is what I'm looking for. News just dropped. All right, this is the outlook for UJ. If we're taking a look at Euro, we're probably taking the highs. I say this is maybe off the table. We're going to focus on gold. All right, we're going to focus on gold here because this is the one that I'd really need to kind of low key pay more attention to. Um, Running these high, I mean, do we shorts don't really align with my bias and not something I'd be looking for. We might take these highs based on the release. So whenever I'm looking at news, guys, just to walk you through this, I'm looking for areas of liquidity to be captured with the initial release. So we've already taken this high on the 15 minute. We got two relatively equal highs right here. Maybe we take them, maybe we don't. But I'm looking for a reason to take a position and then target the other side of liquidity. So I guess what do we have for the release? Let's refresh. Bearish release and then neutral release for unemployment claims. So we're getting an initial false spike is what we're seeing here. I'd like to see USD CAD's going lower. Yo, if we actually, I'm not opposed to that for potential longs if we get down there on USD CAD. I'm going to set an alert on that. But again, my main focus is euro and gold. So swap the high. Swap the high. And this is still on the table. This is still on the table. You might see a full spike like this and think, oh my gosh, Donnie's just entirely wrong. We're going to the moon. Maybe we are. Maybe I'm entirely wrong. But you got to be careful with these first 5 minutes after a news release because they will bamboozle you in a lot of cases, which is basically just a fancy way of saying it'll bait a lot of people into one direction and then flip. All right. So again, we're sweeping one side of liquidity. What can we look to target next? These lows. Am I going to take shorts down to that area? Maybe. Probably not. I don't really care to. Gold, same idea, right? What have we already taken in terms of liquidity? Really just this high and this high on the 15 minute. Okay, this candle just opened. We took both those. We are, I mean, daily time frame. Let me see. Actually, just pull up a clean chart here. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing really to go. I wouldn't be surprised if we just run this high, but I do think we have room to create a low below 4,300 today. Um, so let's see, man. Let's see. But yeah, this is a point of interest. I'd really like to see this today, ideally. Maybe we get it, maybe we don't. But again, just kind of just bringing over those markups from the other chart. Three pretty easy lows. What does news like to do? Full spike one way and then flip. Right now, we're getting probably a lot of buyers baited into the market. Wouldn't be surprised if we end up completely disregarding this quote order block that smart money would be or smart money traders would be buying from. This is just it's too easy, man. It's just another area of liquidity, right? Too easy, not enough of a sweep in my opinion. So we'll see what happens. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's a no trade day. But yeah, man. Let's see. GU, we took the high already. Not looking for shorts, just looking for buys. This is what I would look for on GU. Okay, I like this. Now that we've taken this high as well, this is looking pretty clean. To answer your question, Nathan, how do I define or decide the trading range, right? It depends on the time frame. So right now, 15-minute time frame, what do we have? Low, high, higher low, higher high. Anytime I'm looking at and considering using the fib, I prefer to look no lower than the hourly time frame. So really, if we're looking at, overall what's going on here, this was the hourly range from previously. This is from last week to Thursday. We retraced below the 50%. This is where we were looking for buys, banger trade. We then manipulated this low. So even though technically I would have fibbed from this low to this high, we saw manipulation of that low, and this is likely going to continue higher. I just look at this as a liquidity sweep. The way I'd be looking at this with the fib now is wherever we establish this high, it'll be from this low to that high. So there is a little bit of discretion that you need to use when fibbing. But the general rule of thumb is hourly time frame is like the lowest that I'm going to go to fib. And I'm always looking from the lowest point to the highest point. We're in a bullish trend. So that's why I'm not fibbing from the high to the low here because I'm not looking for shorts. Not until we've been proven bearish on GU. And then gold, I mean, this is the trading range really from last Tuesday to this Friday. We've been in this range creating a whole bunch of liquidity. And we could break to the upside, and not be a part of the move. But I would prefer this, and I'm confident we could still see that. So that's why I'm patient, not looking to chase a setup right now on gold. I will be observing gold. I would be curious to see whether we get a bounce from this zone or trade through it. I would prefer to see price trade through it. And the reason, and again, I could be wrong, right? I'm not, I don't have some crystal ball. But there's just a lot of liquidity here. Yeah, we did sweep, some. I'm pretty sure these lows got swept from this little wick here. But so maybe we get a bounce off this. That's a possible scenario. But my preference would be for this to just completely flip, sweep so much liquidity, and then we look for potential buys. But yeah. And this might happen off the session too. So keep in mind, like we'll be here until 9 a.m., another 24 minutes. And then I'm probably gonna hop off for the day, to be honest. Hop off the session, that is. Because I got a lot to do. But maybe we'll extend the session a little bit. Donnie, please can I see the limits? Yeah, I mean if you're in the community chat as well, they're in there. Just look under the signals section, and you can find it in the community, but you can also just look on screen. I'll pull them up. Now they're pulled up. POI is entry, and INV is stop loss, and then exit 1, 2, and 3. Those are TPs. Got 140 pips, 1 to 14 RR. God is good. Nice. That's amazing. That's amazing. What was that you were trading, last Jazar? How you get that liquidity line? So any of my drawings, right? You can have templates with them. So this little thing, these are templates. So I have a whole bunch of templates saved. Market structure higher high, just regular thicker line, break of structure, liquidity captures, right? Taken D is taken downside liquidity, taken U is taken upside liquidity. Um, lick D is downside liquidity. Lick U is upside liquidity. And you can adjust those and you can save them accordingly in settings. So template, and then you can go save as. And then yeah, this is the way you can do that. Okay, let me see the chat. Uh, I think what's important when it comes to, I'm just reading in the chat, your job is something you need to be very grateful for. because, and you don't want to walk away from it too soon because that's what's funding and fueling this direction that you're deciding to take. And a lot of people in this niche, um, I'll pull this chart back up in a second. I just want to mention this. As it's getting sunnier, it's low key messing with my lighting, but it's all good. We're still trying to look as handsome as we can over here. But by the way, don't be shy. I can still see the cameras. You know, if you guys, I can still see Jordan, Manav, and Hipsa. Everybody else went ghost on me, but it's all good. Your job is something you need to be grateful for because that's what's funding and fueling this direction that you're embarking on, this journey that you're embarking on, because that's really what it is. And the reality is this niche like shits on jobs. And it's a really interesting catch 22 because what do most people do? Leave their job too soon. That's what I did. In the end of 2019, nobody knows this. Very few people know this, I should say. End of 2019, I dropped out of school, hence where the username Donnie Dropout came from. University, I was in school to become a teacher, said, fuck this, let me pursue a different path. Did that. And also simultaneously walked away from both of my jobs. Maybe I was only working one at that time because I think I'd already walked away from the other one prior. I had two jobs. One was youth programming. So I used to do these drop-in school programs, absolute blast. Used to work summer camps over the summer. So much fun, really fulfilling work. And yeah, it was a great time. Honestly, it was a great time. And I also used to work this job at Shoppers Drug Mart. If you know, you know. If you don't, terrible environment. I really didn't like that job. And that was my fuel. I didn't leave the job right away. I said, man, I need to use this to run up trading, to lock in, to then walk away from it when it makes sense to. And so it was like fueling my burn to dial in more. And then I still walked away too soon, to be honest, because end of 2019, when I dropped out, walked away from that, walked away from my other job, and was in no position to support myself financially. Like I was not making enough money in the online ventures that I was in to sustain myself. So what did I do? I went profusely into debt and it was rough. And I'm going to have a whole YouTube video that unpacks how I actually turned around a $60,000 debt situation in less than 9 months. And that is something that I think a lot of people are going to find a lot of value in because that is like the feeling of you literally drowning. It's not a good feeling at all. I never wish or pray that upon anybody. It's an experience I needed to have though. And I think there's a lot of people that are going to find a lot of benefit in me sharing how you can get out of a situation like that because let's be honest, the system is structured for you to be extremely indebted. And so anyways, long story short, moral of the story here, keep your job, run it up trading, run it up doing whatever it is that you're doing at your job because if you don't enjoy it but you're getting paid, amazing. Use that as fuel on the fire. Be the person that's like, man, this is really not enjoyable. I'm turning my back on what I don't want. This is what I don't want, me working the 9 to 5. Here's what I do want. Let me focus all my energy, my fire. That's what it is. It's like anger. It's like in Star Wars, the Force. I can feel your anger. It gives you focus. Focus that energy. Like Star Wars is literally, it's like the blueprint to manifestation, but like subliminally, and only the people that know the formula apply it and are like enjoying the movie even more. So use it as fire to work towards what you want and make it something that accelerates your process towards that because you're getting paid from your job. So I walked away from my job too soon, went into a $60,000 debt hole, actually potentially more than that if we consider the card that I did a balance transfer onto, and was drowning for like 3 years, and was really ashamed, embarrassed, didn't talk to anybody about it. So I'm saying very few of you even on here know about this. And so I have a whole story that I'll be sharing my story of how I turned that situation around. And Yeah, a lot of people I think are going to find a lot of value in that because there's a lot of people in a similar situation. Maybe it's less debt, but any amount of debt that's like more than $5,000 and you can't just pay it off in one go, that is something that you are carrying with you. It's a weight, right? And it's not, it doesn't feel good. So, there's good debt and bad debt. That was not $60,000 of good debt. I'll tell you right now. That was all credit cards, stupid shit, terrible, awful experience. But I needed to have that to turn my shit around, to turn my situation around. So I'll be sharing that YouTube video at some point in the new year. And I think a lot of people are going to get a lot of value and be like, wow, this is some raw and real authenticity and also some gems of things to do and consider doing to that a lot of people don't know about to lessen the burden of whatever debt I might have, whoever's watching. So look forward to all that, man. But all that to say, keep your job. Keep your job. It's two very important things, cash flow. And if you don't like your job, perfect. Get mad about it and focus that attention on what you want. This will be shared on YouTube as well. Yeah. Dropping my girls off at school, daycare while watching. Amazing, Brooke. I love to see it. Let's go. Multitasking. Yeah, losing the active income sucks, man, because then your trading goes down the drain, your performance goes down the drain because it's like every trade you got to make this money to pay off your bills, you know. So, it's like just not a good energy to be in. Anyways, quick update. That was a sidebar. Felt really called to speak on that. We're seeing gold continue to push. We've taken a couple other highs, which is nice. This might be one of those days where it just kind of leaves without us, and it is what it is. Right. This is still on the table. I'm still patiently going to be looking for this. We might just miss it entirely, and gold might just run to new all-time highs, price discovery, and just fly. If we take a look at euro, after taking this on the 15 minute, we're kind of just chilling. We're not really doing a whole lot. We have been progressively, kind of retracing and filling in some inefficiencies on the smaller time frames. Nothing that's worth taking. While I was speaking, I was actually looking at and just showing my face. I was looking at some charts, and there's nothing really else to share that's of interest to me this morning so far. Other than just being patient, this might be like a position that going into I was going to say next week, but next week's going to be an interesting trading week. Sometime in the future could be something worth considering. Gold, same thing. This is still on the radar screen, but it's just going to be dependent on how if we go into price discovery, how aggressively we go into price discovery, because this could just be left behind. Both these areas, this could be left behind, this could be left behind, and we don't trade back to it for some time. You know, have you ever traded S&P and NAS? I started transitioning over to indexes now, and SMC works so well with price action. Yeah, it's super clean. I'll actually be releasing some training on approaches that are mechanical. Never talked about this anywhere else before. There's a lot of things that I'm very excited to come out with in the new year that I've never shared anywhere before, and it'll all be shared for free inside the community. So that's the direction we're going. I can't speak too much on it right now. The two dates you're going to want to write down, guys, if you're on this call and you're like, yeah, I want to continue to tune in with you, work with you, Donnie, from afar, from, directly, whatever. The two dates you're going to want to write down for updates is December 21st and December 28th. Okay. Two very important announcements are coming out on that day, and there are going to be calls for both. So do not miss those. All right. You can miss them if you want, the recordings or whatever, they're going to be there. But I think you guys are going to want to be there live. And it's not going to take away from anything you're already doing. I want to be very clear. Like, this is not going to take away from what you're already doing. It doesn't mean that you need to change anything you're already doing. This is just going to add to what you're already doing. I just want to be very, very clear. And it's free. Okay, keyword free. But there'll be recordings too, yes. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I think gold might be cleaner, might be going to clean the liquidity at 43.50. Yeah, I like these highs to be taken for sure. For sure. I would have preferred to be a part of the move, you know. And maybe we can justify longs if we get a retracement to fill some of this, fair value gap. But yeah, I think you're right. I think the draw is going to be on 43.50. Um, Man, really wanting to see these lows swept and then go to take the highs. But we can't live in Don's perfect world all the time. But this could still play out going into like the later half of New York session, later part of New York session today. We'll just have to see. Are you always trading with the trend? I I would say majority of the time. Sometimes I'll take counter trend trades, but I like to swing trade, so it's not really worth my while to take counter trend setups because I can't swing them, you know? I'm getting a bunch of messages to me personally here. Let me pull these up. Um, Zara, I'm not sure if is Zara still on here. Yeah, Zara's still on here. Zara Joshua, if you want to message me on Instagram about what you private message me on Zoom about, we can continue to discuss that. We got Rwanda in the building. Let's go. Let's go. We'd love to see it. Adolf, good to see you. All right. Been there multiple times. Yeah, it's definitely something a lot of people can relate to in terms of walking away you know, from the job too soon for sure. Let me see here. Do you think if it runs to all-time high, it could be a potential sell? I wouldn't want to sell gold personally. I mean, maybe, but it's just one of those scenarios where it's like shorts are going to be way shorter term. I'm more of like a swing trader. I do trade scalp and intraday as well. It's the same thing, just smaller time frames, right? Fractal. The market's fractal. But I have no interest selling gold because I know what the more or less trajectory is. So it's like here we are, we just swept these highs. Maybe we get an inversion on the smaller time frame. You could take the sell, right? To target, I don't know, this fair value gap or something. But it's like I would prefer to be not be a part of that move and just wait for potential buys from here to be able to swing that trade as opposed to apply that same risk on a short that might not even play out, number one. And number two, I definitely can't swing trade that because, unless I'm calling the top on gold, which I think is very unlikely, I wouldn't be able to swing trade it. I wouldn't be able to hold 10%, 15%, 20% of my position longer term, which is something that I like to do. You know, do you have the times for December 21st and 28th? The 21st will be, I believe, 8 or 9 p.m. Eastern. So that'll be later in the day for a lot of you. Like kind of like late night, but I would say stay up for that if you can. You're not going to want to miss that live. And then the 28th, I'm really excited about because I haven't set the time for that yet. That'll be on my own accord, fully my own accord. But yeah, I'll be coming out with a lot of really cool things going into the new year. The 28th is when I'll be kind of announcing what to look forward to specifically. And then the 21st, we have another pretty exciting announcement as well. So yeah. Yeah, ugly price action on BTC. I want to talk about this too. So we're seeing some nice bullishness. I like this on BTC. This was a markup from Sunday. Actually, I think even before Sunday's market outlook session. So we're seeing this progress. This was the ideal scene on BTC. Trading in this order block bounce. We're seeing the bounce. We love to see it. And it's kind of like do or die for Bitcoin, to be honest. Like, we gotta see this thing start to develop higher if we have any hope of, an alt season going into the new year. But like I said, either way, I'm content. If we get an alt season, I can sell it, price discovery for some alts, great. If I can't, it is what it is. I'm just going to accumulate going into next year. Do we have anything at all that's relevant for CPI? Yeah, UJ is doing its thing. I like this as well. If we retest this accumulation, That could be favorable. We haven't seen the turnaround at all from any of these, so something to watch because we're going to end the session here in a few minutes, most likely. And this is how it is, guys, right? Like some CPI sessions we catch banger trades together, or we'll call out banger trades that play out later on in the day, or nothing at all, and it is what it is. It's just a matter of showing up because the days you don't show up might be the days that there's some bangers. If you know, you know, right? NFP, CPI, FOMC, these are all news events that we've traded live before with considerable accuracy. Um, I think we've had more non-trading news days than we've had losses, and we've had considerably more wins from the news trading days. So that's just like taking a look at the entire year. January, February, absolute banger months last year. Well, this year. Uh, NFP and CPI both were very clean. Beautiful, actually capitalized on most of those as well. And then we had, going into the rest of the year, some really good consistency with news trading. And so news trading is like what you could say I kind of like specialize, you know, in sort of smart money is really what I specialize in, but news trading is like something that we specialize in on these sessions. And I like to do live news trading on a regular basis. So look forward to that in the new year. This is like the last one for this year. But yeah, usually for news, so we're seeing this is an impulse from 8:30 to 9 a.m. From 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., I would be expecting a retracement to then continue higher. And 9:30 will be a key time to be on the markets, to be on the charts and observing, just to see what price action develops, guys. Like I said, I'm not going to be live with you all, but yeah, something to be on the lookout for sure. Daria, I'm reading your message here that you sent privately. Let me reach out to my team, or I'll just personally get back to you. Was that on Instagram? It must have been on Instagram, right, Dario? I'm assuming that it was Instagram. So yeah, I've been overwhelmed on Instagram. So yeah, just bear with me, guys. If you have messages that haven't been responded to, either myself or my team will get back to you. Appreciate your patience. Yeah, okay, awesome. Daria, I'll make a note of that. Let me make a note of that right now. Is there anybody else that's waiting for a reply on Instagram? Speak or forever hold your peace. Is that the saying? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, let me know in the chat if you have a message that you're waiting for me to get back to you on Instagram. Just type a one in the chat. All right. If you don't and you're dropping a one in the chat, it's not going to be ideal, but I'm just making note of who I need to get back to or who my team needs to get back to so that we can keep on top of everything. Because like I said, we've been pretty overwhelmed. Let's see. So a couple of you. I'm gonna check on YouTube as well because I know we got some people there. Are the lower XAU entries still viable? Do you mean I mean both areas are still viable for sure, for sure. I think it's just a matter of like, are we going to get down there before new all-time highs? If yes, take buys. If no, I would be a little bit more reluctant to take the buys. Like if we go to all-time highs, price discovery before we trade in this fair value gap or this fair value gap, I'm not really going to be looking at them or considering them anymore. But if we haven't traded to new all-time highs and we get down here, I will certainly be looking for longs. Do you think next week, Monday/Tuesday, is worth trading? Great question. I personally do expect some volatility on Monday and Tuesday, but I'm not really going to be looking to trade it personally. Um, what I wouldn't mind is finding a position today that I hold into next week or potentially the new year. That I would be looking to potentially do. Do you ever notice that every Friday with gold, there's more often than not a massive swing in price? Oh, I've seen that for sure. For sure. Would this possibly be institutions closing positions? Exactly. Or adding to positions. Usually closing positions, though, most of the time. Would I be correct in saying that they'd be robbed with massive swap fees? That's definitely a good insight for sure. I'm not actually you know, a institution myself, so I can't speak from firsthand experience. Wouldn't that be interesting, right? If I was, maybe one day. But yeah, I think that's a good assumption. I think that's a good theory for sure. All right, I'm writing down who needs me to get back to them on Instagram. Looks like there's just a few of you. Cool. All right, excellent. Sweet, man. Well, yeah, we're coming up to the top of the hour, ladies and gentlemen. What I'll leave you with is what I would be looking for and potentially considering off of the session. On gold, what have we just seen, right? We just swept a bunch of liquidity. I may, keyword may, take a position from this fair value gap should we retrace to it if, if we get inversion in here. If you don't know what inversion is, hit me up after this session so we can get you inside the community so you can watch the video on inversion. All right, it's a free community. Look for lower time frame inversion. Okay. So this is what I'd be looking for. I'm not immediately going to just buy when we trade in this fair value gap. I need to see, smaller time frame inversion, 1 minute, 3 minute, ideally 3 minute, maybe 5 minute inversion from this area as we're retracing, right? Lowers, we're creating these lows, lower highs, lower lows down in this area, looking for an inversion or a change in state of delivery to then take buys, maybe stop beneath this low or beneath this low, one of the two, and then target all these highs at all-time high. All right, so that's what I'm looking for on gold as of right now, based on what we've seen develop over the past 30 minutes. This could happen pretty quickly. We could also see this is still on the table, very much on the table. Okay, if those buys got invalidated, look for a run on these lows and watch for inversion beneath them. All right, and then of course we got this area that I was marking up before CPI and the lower one, but the lower one is kind of like much lower than current price. So this is something to consider going into the rest of New York session today. Let me hide these two lines so they're not in the way. And yeah, this is what I'll be looking for on gold. I'm going to drop this chat or this chart in the chat. Kaden, if you want to drop that in the community chats as well, that'd be great. Thank you. And then Euro USD, not really looking to participate in Euro USD anymore. We didn't get what we wanted, but it's all good. It's all good. And if there's anything else that I like that I'll be considering during the session today, if you're inside the community, we'll be sharing the outlooks for those. And if you're not inside the community, it's something to consider, right? Doesn't make a difference to me if you decide to be in the community or not. But if you DM me the word community on Instagram, I'll walk you through the process of getting set up with that. It's quick, it's easy. If you have questions, you can let me know. My team or I will get back to you on it. Um, Jacob, did you have a message on Instagram you're waiting to hear back from as well? I'm just seeing the one that you dropped in the chat. Let me know if that's what the one was for, and I'll make note to have somebody get back to you. Cool, man. If Jacob's still here, I'm not sure if Jacob's still here. Let's see. Oh yeah, Jacob's here. Yeah, if you wanna let me know, I was just seeing the message that you sent me personally. You dropped a one. If that's to respond to a message that you've sent me on Instagram, let me know and I'll try to hit you back. So cancel the Euro USD trades. I would keep the limit, like keep the limit if you want to delete it, you can. I think this is still a relevant setup for today, right? Like if we were to see sweep of this high and then we flip going into like 10, 11 a.m., this could still play out. I think it's less likely to though, because we didn't see us move lower with news. The initial idea was for price to move lower with news, capture the low, and then trade higher, right? So it's just a little bit less probable for it to actually be activated, the trade act to be actually to be activated. But what would justify me deleting this limit is we see a new high here. I would delete the limit if and as to when we create a new high at 118,200, we'll say 118,100. So then I would delete the limit. For golds, this limit, which is set, I would delete, like I said, and disregard, really both these areas. Well, maybe this one I'll keep, but this one for sure, I would more or less be putting on the back burner as soon as we go into new all-time highs. Cool. Awesome, guys. Well, yeah, we're gonna wrap up the session there for today. Let me check the YouTube chat and see if there's anything that I missed there before we call it for the session. And doesn't look like it. Let me see. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. So we'll be back, guys, with more updates very soon. Like I said, stay tuned for December 21st, December 28th. And if you want any updates from during the rest of the trading session, you can feel free to, join the free community if you'd like. It's not mandatory whatsoever. And these sessions are, something to maybe look forward to in the new year for free. Not going to take away from anything you're already doing, just going to add to it. Okay. More value. That is the vision. So much love, everybody. We'll be back very soon. Do not miss those updates on December 21st and 28th. And with that being said, have an amazing rest of your Thursday. See y'all on